There is no greater pain for a parent than the pain of losing a child. My next guest is Lori Clark Weatherly, a mother who lost her newborn on the day she was giving birth to him. It was a day that changed her life forever. And this morning, Lori is sharing with us a very special book in memory of her son called Facets of Life. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for having the courage.
Thank you.
To talk about something that I just can't imagine as a mother. The pain you went through, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
If you don't mind my asking, what happened that day when you were giving birth?
Sure. The day that I went in to deliver my second son, my uterus ruptured, causing extreme pain, and the circumstances led to a very tragic ending with Matthew's life. He lived about 25 minutes and passed away.
Did you know what was happening at the time?
I did not. I just knew that something was different. This was my second child, and I knew that the labor, the pain was different, and so I did not know.
Now, I was reading in your book, I know that for a couple of weeks, it was pretty touch and go for you. You were fighting for your life after that?
Yes, I was, and I had many complications fighting for my life. All of my organs failed me except for my heart, and I say that was because my heart was broken. It was a very tough time. I went through a number of medical complications. I had seizures in the hospital. I went into DIC, which is where your blood does not coagulate, and I had to have blood transfusions. It was just a very terrible time for us and for our family of great loss, of not just losing Matthew, but losing so much that went on with my health.
When you finally get out of the hospital, I know it was about a few weeks after that, you then had to endure what I can't imagine is just the most horrendous pain, which is bearing your newborn.
It was the most tragic day in my life, I believe. But it was also the best in a sense, because I was able to, it was the first time I was able to see my son and hold him and love him and just embrace in that moment being his mother, because that was the only chance that I was ever going to get. But it was also the worst because it was also the day that I had to kiss him goodbye.
Now, in the book, I kept on reading and saying, how much more can she go through? And yet there was more.
Yes.
Soon after that, you are devastated by Hurricane Katrina.
I was. We all were. My husband's business and my sister, my hair salon, was affected by Katrina's floodwaters. And we were already so devastated by the loss of our son, the loss of my health. And now we were suffering the loss of our businesses, and it affected so many, and we were just really devastated once again.
And in your book, Lori, you decide to write about all these experiences that you went through, very difficult ones, I must add. And I felt the courage that you endured in terms of moving on and the will to survive. That was important to you. Did it help you write about these experiences and get you over the hump?
It did, and it is a God-given courage, and it was the willingness for me to want to be able to live for my children and for my husband and for my family, and I had to fight to do that. I went through significant grief and depression, and there were moments when I didn't want to live. And then once I was able to use these experiences, I wanted to be able to help others. And so writing the book, I was looking for the survivor. I was looking for the person that wanted to fight and wanted to live like me so I could help her.
And for someone who reads this book, are you trying to help them just realize that no matter how big or small, you can overcome?
Yes, and it is about overcoming obstacles for anyone that suffered significant life-changing loss, whether it's a child or a hurricane claiming all of their possessions. Any life-changing loss, this book is a book of hope, and it's just a beautiful tribute to our son, and I'm so happy that I was able to do it. I
was reading a lot of passages of strength. Is there one that stands out in your mind?
There is, and I believe that any mother that has suffered and has had the pain to endure burying their child, she can relate. And I would like to read it to you, Christy. It's on page 61.
Okay.
It says, "There is no longer walk than to walk the path a mother has to take to bury her child, and no path more frequently visited. Whether on foot or in her heart or mind, the path always lies deep within her soul." And I wrote that after visiting my own son's grave many times, because you never leave that place. It's always so deep.
I do want to end by letting our viewers know that about a year after you buried your son, you did adopt a little boy. Can you tell us about
We did.
him?
We did. His name is William, and he'll be five years old soon. And he is a bundle of joy. And we do believe that happiness is circumstantial, but joy is God-given. And God has given us so much joy through him and through our children, all three of them. All of our boys are blessings, and we are so blessed and so very grateful.
Lori, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And of course, if you'd like to read the book, it's called Facets of Life. You just have to go to the website, and that's LoriCWeatherly.com.